Okay, so hopefully during the course of the webinar, we'll be able to get expectations from more people. So you're welcome, everybody. You have been seeing this particular slide on your screen, and this is a space that shouldn't take more than an hour. So we have a very well packaged webinar for you, and I'm hoping that at the end of the day, you'll be able to learn something you can be able to apply in your businesses and also be able to connect with what we can actually offer as Tracksend to be able to help you in terms of your customer retention. And that is why, we have been able to put and package this kind of webinar for you. Hoping that you enjoy the ride. So my name is Henry Tabans. Just call me Henry Ibuka. Just a minute to show that my slide. My name is Henry Tabans, and I'm product specialist for Tracksend, and we are the organizers of these webinar. Joining me in this webinar are two very well and vastly experienced individual. We have Abraham Ojes. Abraham Ojes is a product manager for Zend Labs, and I'm also joined by Ayola Ogunyomi, his business strategist for Daniel and David Communication. So, DDC. During the course of the webinar, you get to meet them more and know them more as they take their individual sessions. So the webinar for today, as you already know, is titled "Making Customer Retention Your Strategy for Hyper Growth." So, real quick, it's important that we let you know about the organizers of this event and why exactly we are bringing up this topic at this very crucial time. Tracksend is Nigeria's foremost marketing, automation, and data company, and our headquarters right here in Lagos. We optimize messaging channels like SMS, RCS, Messenger, and WhatsApp in order to grow customer engagement and consequently grow revenue for B2C brands, which of course we have a lot of you here affiliated to many B2C brands. So that is exactly why we are more qualified to bring up this topic at this hour and at this point. At Tracksend, we believe that, and we know for sure that SMS, WhatsApp, and RCS, including Facebook, Messenger, have up to 4 times more opening rate than emails. And this is very crucial at a point where we need to connect directly with customers. It's important to understand what exactly those channels can be able to use to connect to our customers even better and faster, more personalized. And 4 times more open rates than email means that if you're still using emails, it's high time you begin to think about how to upscale your customer engagement and consequently your customer retention. I'm speaking to buttress that. It's important that you guys understand, that 50% of customers, this is research though, 50% of customers leave due to lack of engagement. And we have another research source from fintech company. The fintech company says 90% of 5 million customers became inactive due to ineffective channels. And this already is buttressing the fact that there is a need at this point in time to be able to connect more with your customers. Otherwise, you would have a situation where you have a very high churn rate, your customers are leaving, and consequently, you will not be able to achieve your organizational goals or your company goals. At Tracksend, we also know that top trends, there are 3 top trends that are actually that have high impact in terms of growth for companies, and this is between 2018 and 2023. So Faustina, just real quick, make sure that you mute yourself. I'm also from this end going to make sure that everybody is muted, and I'm also going to give rules as to how to engage here. If you want to send in, like I said, if you want to send in questions, just feel free to type in your questions. However, there will be a point where you can ask your questions. I was talking about the top trends that have a high impact on growth for companies between 2018 and 2023. And there are 3 of them. The first is the millennial effect, and that is, of course, affected with the fact that we are in a transitional period. Permit me to say that means that we are currently experiencing a change in generation. So it's important that we understand how to connect with this generation in such a way that we know exactly how to even communicate with them. Do we continue to use the old communication channel? I don't think so. The second is digital intimacy, which is another key trend, which involves how exactly are you digitally intimate with your customers. And finally, explosions of small brands, which of course are, in my opinion, is even connected to number 1, where you have more digital tech savvy individuals, finding themselves in the business ecosystem and taking over. So it's important that you stay ahead of the curve as businesses. Tracksend actually provides a SaaS platform that enables B2C marketing teams to achieve very key and strategic outcomes. First is for them to be able to personalize and measure their customer engagement, and they will be able to use mobile messaging channels to make this happen. And also, B2C marketing teams can also be able to increase their revenue with better retargeting and data. And finally, Tracksend can actually does help B2C marketing teams increase retention with data from customer feedback and rewards program, which is one of the major this of course is one of the major things that B2C marketing teams are actually looking at achieving. And you would consider Tracksend as a solution for your very key challenges or key bottlenecks as marketing teams. And in the current dispensation, it's important that you understand how this works. We have actually helped top brands like Wimbees to be able to achieve certain objectives. So for Wimbees example, we've been able to use Wimbees. We've been able to use Wimbees to we've been able to help Wimbees increase their event attendance and consistently do this. So this is aligned to retention, of course, which is the major topic we're talking about today. And we've been helping to help them do that with more personalization. They've been able to Tracksend has also helped them to do better retargeting. So individuals who maybe churned, or customers who churned, and customers who decided to use an alternative to your business, we can actually help you retarget them and even engage them, which will consequently retain them. We've also helped brands like MedPlus to increase in drop purchase and also activate the attendance. This is also, we also have helped them the same way we did with Wimbees, with more personalization, retargeting as well, deep tracking, and performance metrics. This, of course, aligning to the topic we're talking about today. Customers who have the businesses who have the question of how exactly do we keep our customers and making sure that they do not delve into an alternative business, which is what we call competitors, right? That is exactly what we're going to be delving into today and seeing how we can actually strategize around that. And at the end of the day, it will help us achieve hyper growth. Finally, Tracksend actually helps with automating campaigns, measuring engagement, optimizing campaigns, and retargeting customers, which is more like simplifying and summarizing some of the things that I just pointed out. But it's important that you know that we do this through, that is, we achieve our goals through these. And more specifically, we've been able to run customer feedback campaigns for top brands that we've been able to work with. We've also been able to do more customer engagement campaigns that are aligned exactly with your customer's need, with your customer demography, with your customer time. So whatever we do in Tracksend actually respects your brand and also respects your customers, their time, and exactly how they intend or want to be connected to. And that is exactly how the future of business looks like, being more direct to customer. With helping brands with their feedback campaigns and engagement campaigns, we have actually, as a result, led brands to building more on their brand recognition, and also be able to create a more personalized experiences for their customers, which in my opinion, you will find out at the end of this webinar, is one of the most important things for businesses today, to be more connected to their customers and also to be more conscious of customer experience. And also, we've been able to help brands that we've worked with reduce their churn rate. Subsequently, you see how exactly this works and how exactly this has actually helped our customers. We've also, as a result of feedback campaigns and engagement campaigns, increased the return on investments, I beg your pardon, for businesses, and also win back lost customers. At the end of the day, everything centers around your customers, and that is one of the major reasons why we brought up this webinar, so we can actually help businesses in the current reality better engage and better retain their customers. I would like to end by saying that if you understand exactly what businesses are facing currently, you'd understand that the major question is, how exactly do we keep the customers that we had even before the entire crisis began? I'm referring to COVID-19. And now that we find ourselves deep in this crisis, how do we recover from it? And how can we be able to keep the customers that we have? So thank you very much, everybody who has joined in. And I I am sure that you will definitely get as much from this session. So we go straight into the first session, and the first session is by Ayola. Ayola.
Okay, thanks, Eric, for this insightful presentation. I only just hope that a lot of brands would focus more energy on customer retention
Yes, we can hear you. You can go on.
Than acquisition.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a background of, I'll just share a short story. Let me try and create a picture in the mind of everyone here today. Imagine you had a bucket of water and you wanted to fill it up, right? And every time you try to fill it up, just because the bucket of water has holes, the water keeps draining off. The bucket never gets filled up. But the moment you try to seal up every hole from the bucket, right, you're able to retain water. That's what basically retention is about. And my Guillaume started off my career as a traditional agency called Saatchi & Saatchi. I moved across from Saatchi to the e-commerce space where I worked with Deal Day and Podozi. Podozi, a beauty e-commerce, Deal Day, a deal site. After which I moved on to production, media production. I worked at Spice TV as head of digital marketing, and from there to a digital agency called Ringe Africa Digital Publishing, and I worked as a growth marketing manager for OPE. Right, that's just a brief background into who I am. My interests span across data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and recent studies, project management, just to understand the customers and their interests as well. Right, so your brand is focused on acquisition or retention, right? I would always say that you should give your customers a specific reason to trust your brand, right? And then if you give them this reason, they would always remain loyal, and they would always come back to patronize the brand. There's a popular say that loyal customers are 5 times likely to repurchase, 5 times likely to give you, and 4 times likely to refer you to friends or even enemies. Sometimes likely to even listen to your new offerings, right? So what's customer retention, right? This is the plan or the process of you trying to increase your customer's lifetime value and boost your revenue, right? It is also the avenue to build sustainable and personalized relationship with your customers. A good retention plan would help improve everything from your revenue growth to acquisition, and even better your ROI on every campaign that you have. I just basically say that if you have positive engagement and you can create a foster relationship, right, with your customers, it will contribute to the growth of any brand. There's a popular saying that profit in any business comes from repeat customers. Customers who would boast about your products anywhere and anytime, and then will go the extra miles to advocate for your families. Are there customers that you already have, and they can do some acquisition jobs for you? If yes, are they treated properly? Questions that you should look into when trying to create meaningful partnerships with your customers. So I'd like us to look into some basic terminologies, and so that it doesn't seem like we're just saying too many ambiguous words. For those who are pretty new to digital marketing or even the marketing space, what's customer acquisition? This is the act of persuading and gaining new customers to take an action regarding your product or your service, right? What's customer lifetime value? Because you'll be hearing some of these terminologies as we go on. This is the measurement of the value of a customer. So every customer has a value with a brand. I grew up seeing my father use Panasonic and National. I don't know if anybody remembers National air conditioner. It used to be like the best air conditioner. Not, I mean the ones that you put into the walls, right? And my love for that brand, even though it has not moved or evolved into split units, I'll say that almost every appliance that I get in my house at the moment is by Panasonic, just because my father has been able to leave a lifetime value with the brand, and then this has channeled down to me via word of mouth. So customer lifetime value is a measurement of how valuable a customer is to your brand with an unlimited and repeated lifetime span, right? The next one is customer life cycle, right? This is the stage of which a customer journeys around your product or your brand. This starts from the reach, the first time you try to reach the customer. It also goes into the acquisition plan. So what's your acquisition mechanism? What are the channels through which you acquire this customer, right? So these are the life cycles through which we measure the customer's lifespan, right? Then moves down to conversion, and then retention, and then above all, loyalty, right? Now, so I just try to explain what customer retention as well is again, just for those that didn't get it, right? The success rate of you selling to a customer, right, that you have is 60 to 70%. We all know that, right? But when you have this customer, what are you doing with this customer, right? The rate at which you sell to a new customer, well, maybe 5 to 20% in most cases, that's the highest you might get for you to resell to that customer. But there must be a plan, right? And what's this plan? You must have a retention plan. This is your conscious activity or action that you take to reduce the number of customers that leave your brand or your product, right? For competitions or for relative brands and services, right? Retention cost. What's retention cost? These are terms that you need to also focus on while trying to develop a retention strategy. Retention cost refers to all your marketing expenses, investment or cost designed to increase the loyalty of your customers while reducing customer churn rates, right? Now, what's customer churn rate? Customer churn rate is basically the rate at which customers drop off or stop subscribing or patronizing your products or services. That's what churn rate is. In digital world, where if it's a mobile app, you'll probably be saying mobile churn rates or customers churn rates, basically. What's retention rate? Retention rate is the percentage of customers retained over a period of time. Percentage of customers retained over a period of time, and the high retention rate logically would show that the business has a low churn rate, basically. I just move into the next slide. So let's do a comparison between acquisition and retention. Right? It's only natural to continually look out for new ways to lure your next potential customer if you're focused on acquisition, right? But focusing too hard on acquisition may only be detriment to your customer's retention, right? So customer retention is crucial, very crucial for forecasting consistent growth, especially in financial planning of your brand or product. If you are a brand, basically, or if you have a brand, basically, right, you can only count on committed customers to repeat or return to your brand year in, year out, right? And it's really very easy for you to plan and make marketing decisions when you know that you have customers who would always be with your brand regardless of the situations, right? So, right, these are two key metrics that you must always look into while planning or while engaging with customers with your brand, right? You know a company who is focused on growth when they do a better job on retention versus customer acquisition, which is basically truth. So when we do a comparison, we know that retention is knowing that your customer needs are evolving. That's what basically retention is about. You know that your customers' needs are evolving. On the other hand, acquisition is basically directing your effort towards acquiring new customers 24/7. And when you acquire this customer, what's the next step? Are you just going to keep them? Because like I made an illustration much earlier when you guys when my microphone was off. I said that when you for a brand, right, acquiring customer is like trying to fill up a bucket of water with water, right? But if you have holes around the bucket, yeah, you're basically going to have to spend 24 hours of your time trying to fill up that bucket because the water will just keep coming out. That's what acquisition basically is, right? But retention is when you try to seal up those patches, right? and keep the water within the bucket. That's what basically retention is about, right? So customers are not loyal. We all know that. I'm not loyal to any brand. I'm only that, like I mentioned, the Panasonic brand is basically because of brand loyalty, right? But I'm not loyal to any brand. Tomorrow I can buy a Samsung or whatever, right? But for a brand, as a brand marketer, you should know that your customers can leave at any point in time, and there are several reasons for them leaving your brand, right? And in subsequent slides, I'll explain why people leave brands regardless of whatever retention plan you have, right? So customer satisfaction is equals to customer retention plus growth. That's what basically retention gives you. You have a satisfied customer, and then you're able to focus your brand on growth as well as reducing your churn rate. So acquisition basically is focused on mass marketing. There's no emotive connection with the customer. It's more of mass market. Let's just get them. Let's hit everyone. I made mention that I worked at OPA, right? So I'm not calling out any brand basically, but part of the acquisition was just, let's get numbers, right? For most startups, basically, it's a numbers game. So almost every startup, from due day, from most of the companies that worked, were basically focused on acquisition. We want the numbers. The numbers are good for investors, but the numbers good for your brand? That's the question to ask, right? So for retention basically helps you personalize your marketing, basically, right? It helps you whether you are releasing new products or not, right? To create new markets. Also helps you create trust within customers, right? And then when a customer that trusts your product or service would always be a returnee, right? So a loyal customer. Now, so let's focus on retention strategies that actually work, right? Try not to overpromise, right? On the promise and then over-deliver. That's the watchword. I find oftentimes that brands will say promise so much, and then when you log on to the brand, you find out that they're even under-delivering, right? So half the time, try not to overpromise. I know that half the time we try to make it look good, but we shouldn't. You should under-promise and then over-deliver, right? Cultivate a moment of personal connection that goes beyond expectations. And this goes from your email marketing, from your social media, from your online, offline platforms, right? So yes, next is basically, set your customers' expectations too high. Setting your customers' expectations too high has no value, and that's the truth about it, right? So always find ways to overperform, right? I said that much earlier. Actively find new ways to promote your loyal customers through your own channel. So celebrate your customers, find ways to put them in your newsletter, do a testimonial review, upload stuff about your customers on your social media platforms, celebrate them, make them feel like they are a part of the brand. Another way of in which retention actually works is trying to surprise your customers with positive experiences. Another way would be that you listen to their complaints and frequently ask questions and try as much as possible to pay attention to these feedbacks, right? Paying attention to the customer's feedback means that you basically take interest in the customer, and then you have invested a small amount to deliver a specific gift or feedback, right, related to the target, to their interest and taste. So other strategies that would also work is that you try to focus more on keeping it simple, right? When your customers are unhappy, try to make sure that you keep your communication as simple as possible, right? Try to ensure that your customer service representative also asks for feedbacks from your customers, right? Create brand ambassadors from potential from your customers. These are like potential salesmen. Word of mouth is key. We always say this in communication, right, from traditional to the digital space. Word of mouth is very essential. These are part of the marketing elements that would help your business. Think of your customers as part of your sales team, right? So just the way every company or every organization hires a salesman, your customers are also your sales team when you're not there, when you're not seeing them, right? And they would help you easily accomplish goals. Give them the opportunity to send feedback at every possible point in time, whether you're releasing a new product, whether your product is 2-3 months into the market space. Try and get feedback from your customers, because these feedbacks would help you focus on customer retention, right? And then if you want to keep your customers, then you need to address customer churn rates, right? So creating loyal programs tailored to your most loyal customers is also another way of keeping these customers. So what are the challenges that you can face when it comes to customer retention? Most brands remember existing customers only when they need to upsell. That's the truth about it. And in order to increase their total revenue, right? But when you have a price war from a competing brand, at the end of the day, you struggle with retention, right? Because you've not been able to cultivate an habit, or you've not been able to personalize your marketing with your customers. So the moment there's a price slash from your competing brands, they are going to the competing brands. There's no emotions. Lack of customer contact. Half the time when I notice that half the time when you do acquisition, sometimes we forget to set up retargeting and remarketing. So this could be a reason why some brands are faced with poor retention. Insufficient budget for retargeting, but that's has to do with your marketing budget. Assumption that your business need would grow regardless of if your business will grow if you have a good product. That's an assumption. And then at the end of the day, you focus more on acquisition. It's a bad strategy to market, right? Your retention strategy as well should be timely, right? So half the time we have less promotions which will last for 2-3 months. And we forget that the longer this promotion takes, it doesn't create a sense of urgency for the customers. So for you to have a retention strategy, you need to be timely. You need to create some sense of urgency. Create some fear of missing out for the target audience, right? Then sometimes another thing is lack of audience segmentation. You need to segment your audience from valuable to potentially valuable to less valuable, right? To one-off, and then non-profitable, right? So if you segment your audience your customers into this category, you're easy to, and you're able to focus your messaging to them, right? So a good customer service yields customer loyalty, and that's the truth. So you also need to work on your customer service. The better your customer service is, and the fast they are quick to respond to messaging, the better for your retention plan, right? So I'll just quickly go into 2-3 slides, and then I'll call it a day. Customer retention versus customer churn, right? I had mentioned customer churn rate as when customers deflect or an indication that customers are leaving your platform or your brand. That's what customer churn is, right? The percentage at which they are leaving. So what should you do, right? What should be your retention strategy for an hyper growth, right? What should it entail? Basically, you need to create peaks in customer experiences. Consciously test email strategies, tailor your loyalty programs to business goals, be where your customers are. So if your customers are on your social platforms, be there, reach out to them, listen to them through those platforms, be passionate and engaging, right? Offer limited time promotions, which we already mentioned. Be transparent and honest with your customers, right? If a transaction is bad, or the transaction didn't go because of one reason or the other, try as much as possible to be honest to the customer, right? Half the time, I've seen complaints from customers on a lot of brands, and then it's just because the brands are not being honest with the customers, right? Don't overpromise, which we said much earlier. Create a customer community around your brand. Intensify your social sharing, right? And then a top part of what you should do as well is try to reduce your churn rates, right? So why does customer churn rate matter, right? This basically is a pain point for any industry, whether you're a startup or you're an existing brand. It's a pain point, right? Because it shows that you're not good at keeping your customers. By now you're probably familiar with the idea that a customer return is the most valuable customer end. At least it is less costly. That's the truth about it. Yeah? Fewer marketing resources need to be devoted to a customer that's already known or already knows what you can offer. There is no need to explain who you are as a brand to that customer, right? What your brand stands for, or what your values are as a company, and how you stack up against your competitors. Typically, existing customers already have a working definition of all these concepts. They may get a sense that you are listening to them the moment you start focusing on retention, right? So let's have a practical scenario. I have three companies there: company X, company Y, and Z. Right? Company X is a typical startup, an hyper growth startup, who is focused on more on acquisition. So they're focusing 80% of their marketing budget on acquisition, right? Because the numbers are good. They need to show the numbers to the investors, and 15% on focus on retention, right? With little or no focus on their churn rates, which I've explained in slide above. Company Y is your averagely trying to be stable company, right? Or startup with 30% focus on acquisition. They already have the numbers, right? Now they are struggling to retain customers with 50% of their marketing budget. And then with this 50% acquisition, they have to now start looking at their mobile churn rate because they are also losing customers, right? But you have this company who has a level playing ground across all three industries, right? 35% across acquisition, 35% across retention, and then 10% more focus on the customer churn rate. Let's see what this turns out to be, right? So the first set of bars is company X, right? You see that when you focus on acquisition, your customer retention, your churn rate, your mobile churn rate increases, right? And your customer retention is almost little to nothing. But if we look at company, that's your average startup, right? This is your average startup, company X, right? So company Y is little focused more on retention, right? While acquisition is still ongoing, but they have a high churn rate, right? So how do you keep your churn rate low, right? If your churn rate is low, it means that your revenue is good, right? And that's a sustainable brand. So let's take a look at company Z. For company Z, the focus is more on retention, right? Which shows that your churn rate is reduced while like I said much earlier, right? You have acquisition, right? And with that acquisition, you word of mouth is coming from your retention plans. You're getting them, like your loyal customers are advocating for your brands already. So whichever way, whether you're focused on acquisition or not, you're still going to get customers, right? So that's company Z. This is so across these three companies, which of them would you say is a profitable or a sustainable growing brand? I'll leave that question to when we have an open conversation. But there's a research basically from KPMG, and these are just some truths that need to be reviewed, right? Revenue drivers basically focus on retention. Every other thing falls under revenue drivers, but if you focus more on retention, then it means that your revenue would decrease. At this point, I would just like to say thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's move on with no further ado to the next session, and that's a session by Abraham Ojes. Abraham Ojes, product manager with Zend Labs, talking about things that matter for user retention and growth. Abraham, do we have you on the call?
Yes. So thanks, Barry, and thanks to the team from Tracksend for having me on board. I'd like to welcome the audience or the listeners to this impactful session about customer retention for hyper growth. I'll focus on things that matter for user retention and growth. And I'll try to rush through my slides just to save time, so we'll have enough time to get questions from everyone. So my journey, right? I started off as a freelance digital marketer for like 4 years, working with many brands, small companies. Then I moved to become a digital marketing manager at an analyst at Ringier Africa for almost 2 years. And so it's no surprise that Ayola was a colleague too. So currently, I work as a product manager at Zen Labs, but we work on supply chain technologies, um, like logistics app called Zen Mobility, and a recent product of ours called Saya, which is like a B2B marketplace for wholesalers, retailers, and manufacturers. Moving on. Yeah, so just going to like breeze through what we have as what I have for you guys today. So Um, I'd like to talk about why you should care about customer retention, how to measure customer retention, and SMS and WhatsApp for customer retention. So I'll try to shed more light on how you can use SMS and WhatsApp for your customer retention strategy. Um, Moving on, I would like to give like a very brief. I know Ayala has done a good job at explaining what customer retention is. I'll just try to add on top of that. So customer retention is the collection of activities a business uses to increase the number of repeat customers and to increase the profitability of each customer. Studies have shown that 6% of sales comes from already existing customers. And so most times when we talk about customer retention, we are most times confused as to what customer retention is, and we confuse it for an excellent customer service or having the best CRM tool. For me, what I've seen as customer retention is like a myriad of activities that the business has put in place to ensure the customers are highly engaged and the customers are actually meeting some set of criteria you set for them. These criteria include, being profitable individually and all. Um, One very very big inspiration for me, building products is um, this very very great man called Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder and
Abraham, if you can unmute so that we can hear you. You're currently muted.
oh, I'm so sorry about that. That happened. So I was trying to say, Amazon founders Jeff Bezos, made this quote that the number one thing that has made Amazon very successful and by far is being customer obsessive. I'd like us to reflect on this every time we think about customer retention, about that your focus should be on your customers and nothing but that. How to measure customer retention? Focus on your best customers. And this goes to say, when you try to measure customer retention, do not focus on churn. Instead, focus on your best customers. Focus on the ones that are there currently, and try to find out what they are doing, why did they stay, actions they are taking, and you can use experiences from these customers, like your best customers, and scale this to other customers and see if customer retention will not grow. And one big thing is that there's no customer retention without acquisition. So acquisition and retention go hand to hand, but there should be a focus on customer retention. So one way to you can measure customer retention is this cohort analysis. A cohort analysis, helps you to see how much of your customers, use your product after the first time they engaged. Let's say you run a business store, or you sell air products online, right? You want for you to be able to measure your cohort analysis, you have to say, okay, if the customer use my store or use my platform, on the first week of March 2020, how many times did he come back? right, over a period of time. So a quote analysis gives you this kind of insight as to how this customer has engaged with you over a period of time. If you see a drop down to zero, that might mean that most of these customers fell off. You understand your like your retention funnel, like um they were not successfully retained. So to have like a retention benchmark is to say, okay, how long must a customer use my product before I can say, oh, I successfully retained this customer. That could be maybe I want a customer to use my product at least 6 times in a year. You understand? To for me to know that, oh, I've successfully retained this customer. Products like Netflix expect you to watch at least let's say a movie per month. Understand? They actually expect to see like 6 movies in a year on their platform to be sure that they expect that they've used that you they've actually be able to retain you on their platform. Retention metrics are different for different startups, or using different business models. For a food startup, a food delivery startup is different. For Uber, the taxi, the ride sharing business it's way way different. Moving on. So churn is inevitable. Instead, businesses must focus on customer retention activities and strategies. It is likely very impossible for you not to lose your customers, which is why you must do everything possible to prevent them. So, like I said earlier, do not focus, on churn rates. Though it's very, very important that you watch your churn rates. But studies have shown that most customers that are focused on retention always have little churn. So do what matters early enough, which is retention, so you don't have to worry about churn later. So SMS and WhatsApp for customer retention. Text, messaging has a 45% response rate, while emails have a measly 6% response rate. It is key to know that SMS and WhatsApp are very, very productive channels for customer retention. And these tools have been used by a lot of brands, and they've seen success trying to use SMS and WhatsApp to engage their customers. How many of us we do like a quick show of hands? How many of us have you know purchased pizza or ice cream from Domino's? Domino's Pizza, if you've tried to purchase or patronize them. One thing they do very well is to try to collect your phone number, so they can engage you with promotional offers later. And Domino's main channel for doing that is not your email or your house address, so they could send you flyers. No, they use to take your phone number. They know how important or how personal to you your text message is, so they will send you text messages of when they have offers, when they have a new product in store. I remember when they started the new 500 small size pack. Domino's will send offers. Oh, when I have 500, when I have a 500 mini size pizza, you could always come to the store close to you to try it out. The same taste, same experience as the bigger pizza. It was very very personal and um, productive, because I learned, I was able to discover these new products, and go into the shop to buy too. Customers are spending 5 times longer messaging, texting every day as compared to voice calls, and this stands true across all demographics. Also, a survey says 7 in 10 millennials prefer to communicate through text messages and the younger Gen Z groups. So this is very important to mostly B2C companies who are trying to target younger generation, to know that the most preferred medium for these guys are text messages or WhatsApp. And I continually try to teach businesses how to use WhatsApp as a very very important channel for customer retention, right? And there are 5 ways to do this, and one of those 5 ways you could do this, you could use WhatsApp and SMS for customer retention. Is one, you're using WhatsApp and or SMS as a customer service and support. So WhatsApp does a great job with this, right? I love when companies open WhatsApp lines, and they they employ people to stay on these lines as customer service representatives, and your customers could actually send messages, complaints, and there's someone who's willing to respond to them on time. That's it's good experience, unlike sending emails or calling or trying to make like, if I wish I could just chat with MTN via WhatsApp instead of having to wait long on those calls. You understand? And secondly, what you can also use do with WhatsApp and SMS as regards customer retention is build ongoing customer relationship with your customers, right? So if I'm just using your app you're using your product for the first time, I expect to see, right, or it's good experience when you send a welcome message to say, hey, welcome on board, welcome or thanks for coming to the store today. That's if you're a shop owner, or so welcome to thank you for coming to the shop today, and all that very engaging messages that keeps your customers engaged and on track towards retention. Context-based marketing, very, very key, right? When this requires a lot of advanced strategies or advanced ways to actually make this happen. For example, Uber is able to tell when you have arrived in a new city, and Uber can actually send you a text message to say, welcome to New York, welcome to San Francisco, right? Do you want to take your new trip in San Francisco? So it's based on context. They know that you're arriving at a new city, and they are trying to engage you to take your first Uber trip in that new city. So you can also do things like running cost-effective campaigns using SMS and WhatsApp, and permission-based targeting. I promised to run through my slides very fast, and I would also like to do a review. So in my slides, I tried to do a brief of what's a review of what customer retention is. Try to tell you or try to convince you why you should focus on customer retention, and I also showed a quote by Jeff Bezos on why Amazon's success is linked to a very customer obsessive behavior by the company, right? And also try to show you why you should focus on your best customers and try to try to see what they are doing, right? So how many times are your best customers ordering from your store? What are they doing? What are your best customers doing? And how you could replicate these behaviors to other customers and see if your retention would not go up. So this is a proven strategy to focus on your best customers and build experiences from that for other customers who may not be but retaining properly. I also showed you how a cost analysis helps you see how customers are being retained on your platform or your service. A cost analysis may not be available to you if you're not a technical user of platforms like Google Analytics, but there are other ways you could run a cost analysis like surveys, user experience, user research, and all. So thank you very much. My name remains Ibrahim Jess, and I'll be looking forward to your questions. Over to you, Henry.
I introduced Tracksend.co at the start of the webinar. And remember, I talked about the fact that we help businesses to be able to connect directly with their customers in terms of using more direct to customer platforms like SMS, RCS, Messenger, and WhatsApp, which is one of the easiest way to directly reach your customers in the current dispensation. And we also help you with strategies as to how you can be able to engage your customers, because an engaged customer is a retained customer. Okay, so thank you again for everyone who dropped in, but I want to be sure that everybody is part of this webinar. So we're going to do one thing before we end the webinar. I'd like for everybody who attended this webinar to drop to express especially how you feel and describe your experience with this webinar in one word, or if you want to use one sentence, you're free to do so. But I just want you to drop one word you would want to of your takeaway, your key takeaway, from this particular webinar. So feel free to send in your messages, and remember your name, your company, and then just one word, one sentence, your key takeaway from the webinar. Okay. Insightful, Musfin. Thank you very much, Musfin. I don't know who Musfin is. I don't know where Musfin works. I'd like to know Musfin, and I'm sure that we can actually be able to collaborate even more moving forward. So remember your name and then where you work, and then one word, one sentence, to describe your key takeaway from this webinar. So thank you very much, Musfin. This was insightful. I agree with you. It was. Yeah, someone else? I'm waiting for your feedback. This is from Angela Oluwa Ope Raymond, works with Sun Steel Industries Limited. Both sessions. Okay, so I'm assuming you're saying the both sessions were insightful. Thank you very much, Angela Oluwa, for that. Rashid, yes, we remember Rashid, with MDS Logistics, says this webinar is mind blowing, and I feel like great. Thank you, Rashid. We feel the same way too, and definitely would keep in touch with everyone. Faustina, remember of course, we know you're Faustina. Of course, where you work is also one important thing. Quite superb. Thank you very much, Faustina. Angela Oluwa, both sessions were educative. Good. So Angela Oluwa works with Sun Steel Industries Limited. Both sessions were educative. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Faustina. Thank you, Rashid. Thank you, Musfin. And for others who are also on the call, thank you very much for attending, and hope you attend another space we'll be organizing with businesses like yours to share insights on how you can actually achieve hypergrowth, which is of course the end goal of every business. But remember that your customer is key. So from Tracksend, on behalf of Tracksend, of course, my name again is still Henry, and I'm product specialist with Tracksend.co. And I was joined today by very amazing panelist Abraham, who's a product manager for Zen Labs and business strategist, and Ayola rather, who's a business strategist for Daniel and David Communications, DDC. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. I really, really hope you guys join us next time we call on you to have a space like this. All right, thank you, everybody. And this is how we're going to end this webinar today. You will get a feedback and you get responses from us as well after this. Have a lovely day, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.